Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am very pleased to welcome Prime Minister Rutte to the Commission. We have had a very fruitful meeting about the European Union's current agenda. We agree on how to tackle the present sovereign debt crisis. We need to tackle the root causes of the situation we are in. This means fiscal consolidation so we can ensure macroeconomic stability. This means pursuing structural reforms so we can lay the basis for growth that creates jobs and is inclusive. And this also means pushing ahead with growth-enhancing measures like completing and deepening the internal market so we can build a competitive economy that is fit for the future. We have agreed that we are not here to manage decline, but in fact to foster growth and revival of the European Union and the European Union's economy. Yeah. We as the Commission push this agenda, and I'm happy to say to you that Prime Minister's government is also pushing this agenda in Europe. An agenda of fiscal consolidation, structural reform, growth-enhancing measures, an agenda for the completion and the deepening of our internal market, an agenda that makes Europe stronger in the world. Not everybody in Europe may share this line, but The Hague and Brussels certainly do. Prime Minister Rutte and I agreed in particular on the need to reform economic governance in Europe. For more stability, we need more fiscal discipline. That means closer surveillance, and if needed, sanctions against those that don't play by the rules. I am glad that the Netherlands is among the strongest supporters of the Commission's proposals on the table. This also means that new and tighter fiscal rules should be adopted rapidly. I hope that by June, as indicated by the European Council, we'll have the new proposals adopted. As you know, we have put forward some proposals and we are now discussing them with the Council and with the Parliament. In fact, our monetary union needs to be complemented with an economic union. The European semester, which we kicked off with our annual growth survey 2 weeks ago, is, I believe, a major step forward. It acknowledges the interdependence of our economies and brings a strong European Union dimension in the national responses. Instead of making correction afterwards, we will now be giving guidance in advance. It will be a peer review with all the member states. It will provide a strong push for reforms in Europe. And it also is a way of ensuring solidity and transparency from the outset. Let me also tell you about the need to have a discussion on the comprehensive approach. We are working on with member states so that we can have a comprehensive response to the current crisis. It is not just about one piece, one proposal, but all those proposals have to be put in a coherent manner so that we send a clear and sound message to the markets about our determination to do whatever we can and should to protect the euro and to protect the financial stability in the eurozone. This is a matter of credibility. We also have discussed other matters. It was a general political discussion, also the multi-financial framework. As you know, the Commission will make its proposal by June based on the treaty objectives. And I think we can agree that we should target areas where the European Union makes a difference, where there is added value, and where are the very important interests for the future. So, in fact, I think it was a very fruitful meeting, always friendly, and very open and informal. And I look forward to working to Prime Minister Rutte for this European project. The Netherlands is a founding member of our union. The Netherlands has given so important contribution to our common project. I'm sure that that was in the past like that, and I'm sure it will be like that also in the future.
Thank you, President. Minister President Rutte.
Yeah. Well, we had a very pleasant meeting and we discussed several topics. And I underlined that the Dutch government focuses on a couple of themes, particularly prosperity and security. And as you said, Mr. President, we discussed growth in Europe. Increasing prosperity is the unique selling point for the European Union. We cannot let it slip. We need a growth strategy that is proactive and which is comprehensive. I would like to put more focus on, for example, services and the digital agenda. And we would like to spend more money for innovation and more internal market. Because more internal market means more trade, and the more trade there is, the more this benefits the Netherlands and other European countries. In due course, The country's income could increase by 15%. By 15% thanks to a well-functioning internal market. At the same time, we need to take a look at the national contributions to the EU budget. And they should be fully based, we find, on gross national income. Member States' contributions will be fully in line with their national wealth. That's simple, it's transparent, and it's fair. We also discussed the importance to have clarity soon on the consequences of the recent decision of the European Court of Human Rights on Greek immigration policy. It is a major blow to the European asylum policy. And the ruling shows that the EU needs to establish a common European asylum system. We must keep pressure on Greece to implement its action plan. And we find Greece should take measures to ensure that flows of immigrants and asylum seekers are better managed and to improve their humanitarian situation.
Thank you, Minister-President. We have time for 2 questions. First, the NOS, alstublieft.
Question in Dutch to Mr. Rutte, if you allow me. Meneer Rutte, heeft u voorzitter Barroso uitgelegd dat Nederland Europa te duur vindt en dat u een korting wil?
Dat wij nu de nettost betaler zijn. Hè? Wij zijn de meest... Er is geen ander land in Europa wat per hoofd van de bevolking zoveel bijdraagt aan Europa. En de president weet heel goed dat onze inzet in de discussie zal zijn om de positie van Nederland te verbeteren. En tegelijkertijd, precies zoals de president net zei, ervoor te zorgen dat wat Europa uitgeeft ook echt geared is, gericht is op groei, op banen, op welvaart. En we moeten weg van die discussie, de somberheid van de discussie die we op dit moment voeren. We moeten echt naar een situatie waarin Europa voor iedereen zichtbaar zijn toegevoegde waarde levert. Maar dat betekent ook voor Nederland dat wij heel kritisch zullen kijken naar hoeveel wij bijdragen, ook per hoofd van de bevolking aan de Europese Unie.
What happens when the Dutch public opinion is no longer willing to pay for Europe? Is that worrying?
Look, I think we first of all should say thank you to the Netherlands. The Netherlands has been a great supporter of the European integration. And I want to use this opportunity here with the Prime Minister of the Netherlands once again to say to the Dutch people how much we appreciate the support that the Netherlands has been giving to our common project since its founding. At the same time, we have to understand one important thing. The European Union is not just about giving contributions, it's also about receiving. I think it is very important, and by the way, you spoke about this, to explain to our public opinion also what is the benefits of being in the European Union and the internal market. The Netherlands has been contributing very much to our common project, but I'm sure you agree that the Netherlands has also been benefiting by the fact that we have this European Union, the EU community, the internal market. The growth of the Netherlands since the founding of the European community was indeed impressive, and part of it was due also to the fact that the Netherlands was contributing to this internal market. So that's the point. Now, afterwards, there is a negotiation. We will have that negotiation. Of course, each country wants to maximize what it gains. That's natural. I was Prime Minister of my country. I also try to get the best deal for my country. That's normal. Now, what I ask all leaders is that to make the case positive, we need Europe not to put money or competence in Brussels, because the money here is not for Brussels. It is for the regions of Europe, for innovation in Europe, to create dimension for investment in future, as the Prime Minister said, for a positive agenda, to complete internal market, to defend our interests. And this is the point. Afterwards, there are, of course, some differences. Some countries want to invest more in innovation. Prime Minister just said now, he wants to see a stronger Europe on innovation. I also believe that others want to have more in other areas. Let's have a good discussion, and I hope at the end there will be an agreement. A point I want to make clear, the Commission, our position is the following. We are not asking for expenditure for the sake of expenditure. We will try to make the case for value added for Europe. When €1 makes sense to be spent at European level, it makes more sense to spend at national level or sub-national level, at regional level. It should be like that. I think at the end we'll come to an agreement on those matters.
De missie naar Afghanistan, Kunduz, niet doorgaat. Er is geen meerderheid voor. Ziet u het nog zitten?
Morgen het debat tussen de betrokken ministers en de Tweede Kamer, het algemeen overleg. Aanstaande donderdag zal ik zelf aan het debat deelnemen. En het lijkt mij correct om niet te reageren op wat er nu allemaal in de media zich afspeelt, maar vooral ook het debat in de Kamer te voeren en nog eens een keer heel goed de argumenten met elkaar uit te wisselen over deze missie. Ik heb nog steeds goede hoop dat het gaat lukken om een meerderheid van de Kamer achter dit voorstel te krijgen. Daar zal ik ook voor knokken, want ik geloof er echt in. Ik doe het ook omdat ik het echt vind, niet omdat iemand van buiten dit vraagt, maar omdat ik het vind. Maar ik ga nu geen commentaar geven op wat iedereen zo al zegt nu in de media en de commentaren erop. Dat moet echt in de Kamer. Dat is ook respectvol naar het parlement.
For one more question, please.
Prime Minister, you mentioned in a press interview this morning the idea of deepening the single market, specifically around services, probably in a procedure of enhanced cooperation with only a limited number of European countries. Can you expand on that a little bit? And Mr. Barroso, I'm interested to see, do you think that's a good idea to push for deeper cooperation in just one part of the EU on something as important as services?
This was a discussion I had yesterday with Prime Minister Cameron in London and with Vice Prime Minister Nick Clegg, also in London yesterday afternoon. I firmly believe that services should be part of the European common market. It's about 40% of the European economy, so there is a huge chance there, a huge benefit to create more jobs, etc. Whether the route of enhanced cooperation is the best one, I'm not sure. I would like, of course, for all 27 member countries to agree on a common market also in terms of the Services Directive. As you know, it has been watered down a couple of years ago when it went before Parliament. I would like to revive it and try to fight to find as many countries as possible to support the original Services Directive and to have the negotiations in that area.
Regarding the deepening of the internal market, we are for. We have been arguing for that for many years. And in fact, just recently we have launched the so-called Single Market Act precisely to address the remaining obstacles, and we hope to have the backing of the member states to complete it, to deepen it. And we are looking now at some specific issues. For instance, in the next European Council we'll discuss energy. I will discuss the matter. Why do we have 40 infringement procedures against member states that are not respecting the internal market in terms of energy? So that is the position of the Commission. Now, how to do it, that's another difficult point. As you know, when it comes to reinforced cooperation, we have to check if that breaks or not, the internal market. And so it's difficulty from a legal point of view. Having said this, there are some measures that are relevant for the internal market that we can do sometimes through reinforced cooperation. A good example, now we are in fact discussing this matter, is the community patent. Yeah. Unfortunately, it was not possible to have unanimity of the member states to go ahead with the community patent, something that puts an extra burden on our companies, and that is in fact detrimental to innovation in Europe. And at the end, member states, with the support of the Commission, agreed to go forward with a community patent. This is a concrete way to reinforce the internal market. But the other proposals, concrete proposals for service or others, we have to check them from a legal point of view because this is, of course, much more difficult and much more complex.
Thank you very much. That concludes our VIP Corner.